Welcome everyone. My name is Łukasz Szymański. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tokenomics Pro, which is a service company, but also TPRO Network, which is our tool that we developed through the last year. Recently, we deployed the Analyze module of this network, and today we officially released the Simulate app that I'm going to show you today. I know I need to look at the camera. So, a little bit of introduction. The tool that we are creating is a DIY tool, meaning that you can by yourself design and analyze, and at the end of the day optimize your economy of your protocol, your tokenomics regarding the investment context, or just analyze the projects that you are interested in to check what kind of the scenarios can materialize, so you can be basically prepared as an, for example, investor, or just the even DAO contributor that would like to know how, for example, the price impact of the token can impact the voting power whatsoever, right? So there are like plenty of potential use cases for you, and today I'm going to show you a couple of them. I'm really happy about the release. The whole story started basically 1 year ago when we did an internal hackathon for there is even Darius. This is my brother. Hello my brother. So yeah, I can see I have some chat window here. Probably I will be not able to continuously look at it, but it's always nice when you are writing something there. So thank you very much for that. It's yeah, then thanks to that, I'm more motivated to do this today, because of course, I mean, it's exciting, but also it's a little bit stressful as always live demos. So yeah, thank you for all of the support. Anyway, going back to the TPRO Network, what TPRO Network is, my dear friends. So TPRO Network is a decentralized economic simulations and analysis network. As you can see on the right side of things, here is the chart that is introducing the layered architecture of our network. And this is also why we are calling it a network, is because it's basically a network of different layers and different solutions that combined are basically one platform that you can use through the interface. But if you are on top of the decentralized apps, of course, but if you are not interested, for example, in using it through the interface, you can also have direct access through APIs, like direct access to the scoring engines, to the simulation engine, even to the computation engine. And at the foundation of all of the network, there is a TPRO chain that stores all of the proofs of what is happening inside the network, but also ingest all of the data, all of the relevant data for us from economic perspective from other chains. So we have already some initial successes, but I'm not going to talk about it today. Today, the most important thing is that we released second decentralized app, which is about simulations, thanks to which you, by yourself, you can go and configure your own simulation on top of our simulation engine. That will be, of course, computed on top of our computation engine. And at the end of the day, you will be able to see the scoring on top of our scoring engine and analyze the results on top of the Analyze app. So I can see that the camera moves right now. It's because there is some fancy smart AI camera in here, I believe so. So sometimes it's going to move, so sorry for that. But anyway, if you want to learn more about the TPRO network itself, go to tpro.network, and here there are all informations, like initial informations that you will need to get in order to understand what exactly we have built, what is the ambition behind it. So today also what is really important is that the format of the whole life is going to be pretty casual and light. So I'm going to show you on of course on the production platform how things works here. Of course, you can still assume that this is beta version, so some things maybe will not work in 100%. Let's see that. But anyway, feel free and feel encouraged to type some questions on a chat. I will try to look at it as much as possible, and I will try to answer also all of the questions during the live while I'm going to go through the simulations, so we can make it really interactive. And also I will be able to give you as much value and education behind the platform itself, and you can get as many information as you wish. Yeah, so now when you click the platform button on the web page, you are going to be redirected to our TPRO Network platform. So what you can see on the home screen right now, it's something really interesting, which is the scoring distribution on the network. 1 second, I lost my mouse. Yeah, it's here. Okay, so the white line is showing you basically the distribution of number of simulations that we have on the platform, and the red bars are showing you how many projects are in some specific scoring bucket. So we can see overall right now we have simulated 107 projects, and also these projects are simulated on top of more than 1,200 simulations, so it's quite a lot. Let me maybe disable my screen for now. Okay. And in general, so this metric doesn't work properly yet, by the way, but the metric about the simulation execution hours means that in the context of computation, it took us 30 hours, like normal real life hours, to do all of these more than 1,000 simulations for this more than 100 projects. So this screen welcomes you with information. Okay, so this is basically the current state of the platform, which will of course change, and which can also give you this initial information, especially for token engineers, so people from our industry or analysts, like how right now the scoring engine works, so what is the distribution, and also what is the distribution on the number of simulations, which is quite important. And on top of that, our aim is to inspire everyone to, let's say, trigger this thought of, hey, probably it needs some improvements or adjustments, or maybe we can try with different scoring model, right? Because as you can see, we can see some kind of aggregation in the middle of the middle point of the distribution, which probably is not something at the end of the day that we would like to see, depending, of course, on the assumptions. I'm mentioning about it because TPRO network is open decentralized network, meaning that what you see already is something that is going to be open sourced, and we will open source it once we will have enough resources for that. So that's basically a reason why it's not yet open sourced, because we are trying to deliver the platform as soon as possible. However, it will be open sourced, and everyone will be able to not only check the code behind the applications itself, behind the scoring models and computation and so on, but also what is mostly important for us, it's that everyone will be able to contribute by providing their own models for simulations, their own strategies, their own agents, and also their own scoring engines, right? So at the end of the day, our goal is to, by our I mean Tokenomics Pro. The goal is, here is the platform, it's there, it's open, and our wish is that we will be able to build community around it, not only community of founders, analysts, token professionals, but also investors and community of other projects that will be able to innovate on top of this tool and make it even more fancy, valuable, and so on, right? So that's the idea, and that's the idea behind decentralization. This is also how we want to contribute to open source community, because it's also built on the open source tools, like for example the Radcat framework. And by the way, shout out to Benjamin, who mentioned about it yesterday on his social media channels, who was one of the main contributor to the CatCat and Radcat framework that we are using. So that's why we want to open source it as well. So That's the important point to everyone, just to make sure that everyone will know that it's not Tokenomia Pro tool and it's only one ultimate 100% legit voice how things should look like. It's a platform that we are giving to the community, and we just want to see how it will grow and what will be the, let's say, community consensus around how simulations should work, how scoring for the projects should work, and the rest of this stuff that we have here. Okay, so that was the introduction. Here we will have a little bit more on the home screen, like for example simulation in progress, but also recent simulation and so on. But for now, let's focus on the simulation side of things. Here on the left side, as you can see, we have list of all of the projects simulated. Most of them are the projects that are already on the market. They are there. Some of them are the projects that are basically results of our simulations that we just tested. So what you can expect here is you will either see the existing projects on the market that someone, because anyone basically can go and put the information about the tokenomics there and simulate it, or the projects that are not yet on the market because someone is thinking about developing their own economics for their protocol, and they are just testing it out here right now in order to shape the best possible economy. So we will go to the analyze view of the apps later on, but today we are here mainly for the simulation, right? So let's start with the simulation application. So we tried really to make it as simple as possible. However, it's always a challenge. It's always about this balance between simplicity and also making sure that we will not cut too many potential features regarding the sophistication of the tool itself, because it's highly sophisticated. So let's start with the use case of, okay, I would like to simulate an existing project. Let me maybe try first the chat. Do we have any questions? Okay, there are not questions. Stream seems to work. That's nice. Okay. I'm checking it because I need to click on the different window that I'm using the application right now, and only then it will appear. So that's why I need to make these breaks. Yeah, right now I can see that. Just some organizational thing. Anyway, so if I would like to simulate existing project, then of course I have these projects on the list here. This is important to mention right now. These are existing projects on our platform. That's important. For now, it's only, it's around these 100 projects that are on our platform, including the projects that are not yet on the market and someone started to simulate them on our platform. In the next iteration, of course, what we would like to have is we would like to have the basically as many projects as possible that are already on the market, even if they didn't have yet simulation in our platform. That's why we need to connect this on-chain data, so we can also pre-populate this information in the form for you as well. For now, this is what we have. So let's maybe pick just the top one, and simulation name. Let's say my first simulation. Actually, the format will be also in a way where I'm going to think out loud about the whole process and about the improvements that we can have, because why not? And this is what I'm thinking about actually, and I assume that someone from the team is watching it or will watch it later. That actually I'm not sure do we even need this field of simulation name. I'm not sure do we even then using it, because we are using unique identifiers, but this is just as a side note. So yeah, this is basically, that doesn't play really important role for you as a person that is going to simulate later on. So then you have something that we are calling simulation range, and it's basically how long, what is the time span of your simulation. So do you want to simulate the range of, for example, 2 years or 4 years for the project, right? Right now we have the range between 50 and 100. To be honest, I don't know why we have minimal amount of 50. This is something that we also need to discuss. However, 100 is also kind of a cap in order to make sure that we will not run too heavy and extensive simulations. That's the first point. The second point also, it's because for now, I didn't mention about it, but important thing is that for now, running simulations for you are basically for free. So of course we are subsidizing that, and that's why we also need to make sure, because at the end of the day we are paying for it, so we need to make sure that we will not have too heavy simulations there in order to not have too high bills while we are still trying to evaluate the application itself. Why 100 months? Mainly it's because we kind of, the assumption was that one cycle in the crypto market is something around 4 years, so we wanted to be able to simulate 8 years in order to kind of have some more or less idea around how the project will behave under 2 cycles of the market. So yeah, let's put 100 months. We will enable days as well for, let's say, more granular simulations, because there is also a use case for that. Like if you would like to simulate, for example, first 3 months after listing, then the month granularity will be not enough, obviously. That's why we have already in our engine support for days in simulations, because this is basically your time step. So either it's months, days, or whatever you would like it to be. It can be even, from the simulation context, another block in the blockchain. It depends on your granularity, how you would like to approach that. So for now we have months. We will add also support for days. And then we are starting with in our minds, two most important things when it comes to token on your market. And this is also from our experience that we had different clients, and also from our experience regarding different simulations, is that one of the most important factor regarding the price action of the token, which then impacts rest of the system and the other way around, it's two things. So one is the type of exchange that your token is listed on, and the other, I think even more important, it's the liquidity for your token. That's why we are starting with it. This is how we are trying to say, okay, these are like most important things, right? Why type of exchange is important? It's because decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges are working in different market making model. Decentralized exchange works in an automated market maker model, meaning that there is instant liquidity. There is no one between us and our trade. We are just trading directly with the liquidity pool, which is then described and behaves in a way how the mathematical formula does it. That's why it's instant and automatic, which have its pros and cons, of course. On centralized exchanges, we have order book model, where we need to have market maker that is maintaining this order book. And there are different patterns in the market which we don't like and so on. And that's why also there is TPRO Network there, in order to show to the people like how it works in reality, right? So for centralized exchanges, there is this challenge where, especially in crypto markets, where still we can see a lot of manipulation on the market, and the order book model also have its cons, pros maybe as well. But there is this difference, like you need to evaluate differently the projects that are only on decentralized exchanges, which in my mind it's something far much easier to properly evaluate. You need to evaluate differently projects that are only on centralized exchanges, which if you will take a look recently, and also projects that are in the top 100, for example, this is the case for them, where there is one market maker that's maintaining all of these markets, and also on both. But this is totally different discussion from the other day, but this is highly important, and that's why we have it here. So let's start with decentralized exchange, where basically here the form is pretty straightforward, meaning, okay, so how much you have two sides of pool, and on one side how much dollars or corresponding stable coins you are going to put there, versus how many tokens. So at the end of the day, like, we will calculate for you the what we call the listing price, right? So after initial liquidity will be added, what will be the listing price. And then on top of that, we are creating your first round in tokenomics. In tokenomics, I mean this basically cap table of different rounds and this distribution and so on. You can have some custom settings like Cliff, which is locking the tokens, investing, and so on for the liquidity, but for now I'm not going to get over that. So as you can see, we have allocation runs, and we have like this ecosystem like development, marketing, team pool, investor IDO, investor strategic with all of the token generation amount, cliff, vesting, the price, and so on. So this is already pre-populated. It's because the project is in our database, right? It's existing project on our network. So you don't need to put any information here. If you wish, you can play around with that. That's fine, because this is our assumption. Even if the project exists, you can just tweak some even small things and then check how it's going to behave. So this is how it is. One important mention. So as you can see, we have different names of the rounds, but there are also different types. And when it comes to the types, it's important to distinguish that investor type of the round is different than team and ecosystem. It's because investor type needs to pay for the token some specific price in order to retrieve them, right? Then there is also a team and ecosystem pool, which is basically our team type of the pool is saying, okay, these are the tokens that are going to the team, so obviously they didn't pay for them, which is important from economic perspective. And also ecosystem, which are basically, okay, tokens that are going to be minted. No one paid for them, but they are going to be, for example, either exchanged for some marketing services, so it's basically a supply factor, or for development as well, right? So this is why it's different. And then what is great, what I really love, and this is where the fun is starting, this is the strategy screen. But before we start, let me maybe check the chat. No, okay, chat seems to be quiet right now. So let me go further. So sales strategy, what is it? It's basically where we are saying, okay, you have these different rounds, right? Like marketing, ecosystem, team, IDO, advisor, seed, strategic, and private round. So this is all of the rounds that you have on your primary market. So all of the people that are going to receive the token on the primary market, so they are not going to buy them on the secondary market. They are going to buy it before, or receive it before token is even in the circulation, and either in exchange for money or services, or by just being a team member, right? So for this kind of people, what we are going to do, we are going to set up what we are calling sales strategy, right? Because on the primary market, we have this assumption that, okay, people already have the tokens, right? So they do have them. They don't have any need to go on the market and to buy them before they're going to sell them. They do have them already. So now the question is, okay, what will be the strategy in order to sell them? When they are going to sell them? How they are going to sell them? Under what conditions? And of course, we have assumptions like, okay, there is ecosystem round for development, right? And during token generation, even there is only like 5% of them available. And there is 1 month cliff, which means, okay, besides this TG amount for 1 month, they will not have any more tokens available. And then they will be, for example, linearly available to them through the period of 36 months, right? So this is like one conditions that we have. This is our kind of supply boundaries that we already have because of the tokenomics that was in the project. However, inside these boundaries that these investors have, they have this ability to make the decision around, okay, am I going to sell instantly whatever basically I have available? Am I going to sell only if the price is twice as much as I bought them as an investor? Am I going to sell, I don't know, randomly? So am I going to do some dollar cost average strategy? So that's why we are calling it strategies, because different the people here, different stakeholders can have different strategies. Like VCs having your tokens can have different strategy than marketing people that receive your token, and also the team that would like to cash out on the token in order to, for example, fund the further development, right? So what we have right now, and this also depends on the type. So for ecosystem type, we have two strategy. And what we need, obviously, to add to the tool is explanation around them. I have my document here on the right that explains all of them. We are going, of course, also to publish it. But for now, because I can see that I already talking too much, for now, let me skip that. But let's just keep in mind that you can pick different strategies for different runs, which will then define how it's going to behave on the market. So these are your assumptions. Okay, I would like to know how my price action of token would look like if investors in the IDO stage with these conditions are going to aggressively random sale. What they can also do is then, for example, take a strategy or incremental doubling sales. You can pick a couple of strategies, and then we will divide the budget across them. So this is also like you can say, okay, let's see how it will behave if half of them will do this strategy and half of them will do this strategy, right? So let me maybe fill this up with some totally random things. But this is like this first great power of the simulations, that you can have some specific strategy that you can attach to some specific stakeholders and then check how it's going to behave. Of course, what you need to be aware is that we have this range of different probabilities, basically pretty much everywhere in the system in all of the modules. So it's not like you will always have different results. You will the same results. You will have different ranges of probabilities depending on your assumptions. And then we defined the primary market, and right now there is time. Okay, what will happen after we will release the token, after token generation event, or maybe to be more precise, after listing the token on the secondary market. In our case, we defined decentralized exchange. So what you would like to know is like, okay, we provided our liquidity. Okay, we have the primary investors that are our team or whoever received the token that are waiting to have this liquidity on the secondary market, right? Because until now their tokens were totally not liquid, so the value was only on the paper. And now what we need to define, okay, if we will provide this liquidity, how people that doesn't have any tokens but they would like to have them are going to behave. What is our assumption behind that? Okay. And of course, we will not only at the end of the day base this data only on assumptions. In the next iterations of the tool, we will incorporate market data. Like, for example, if you will define that your project is from gamify category, then we will be able to provide to you information about some average volume, demand, and supply from the secondary market stakeholders, so you will know what's your basically reference, right? But for now it is like that. So what you can see here, it's pretty simple form, however it has huge power in terms of possible use cases. So the first two inputs, what they are saying, it's basically, okay, what will be the assumption, what I can expect, or what is my investment thesis, because this is also can be like that regarding the existing project. Like, okay, behind what will be the demand? It's like some average demand from the market regarding the token, and then once they will buy the token, okay, how much of this token they are going to then sell in corresponding time steps, which are months right now, right? So what does it mean? It means that you can check the use case where you, for example, have let's say DeFi protocol or a gamify project. So you have a game, right? And part of your game is the requirement to buy a token. in order, for example, to level up or whatever, use the marketplace and so on, right? So you have some assumption like, okay, what will be, or even what has to be the demand for my token in order to basically make it, relevant in terms of business, right? So you can say here, okay, so I would say that either my assumption or my thesis or what has to be done, it's that I need this kind of average demand for my token on a monthly basis in, for example, let's say $10,000, right? This is average. So it means that on average per each month, there will be the $10,000 demand for my token as an aggregate from different agents, right? And then, okay, if they will buy it, and this is, let's if this is like directly tied to utility of my token. So they are going to buy it for the purpose of the game, and then they will spend it in the game. So they are not going to sell it. You can put their 0 here, right? So this will show you the situation. Okay, they will buy this stuff, these tokens, because of the game, because of the gated access, whatever, because of the utilities. And then these tokens will go, for example, to our treasury, right? Or they will be burned. That's why they will be not able to sell them later on. So you can put here 0. This average traffic is not going to do anything later on with that. So that's the first use case. The other use case can be, okay, so let's say they are going to maximally sell 50% of them because maybe we would like to check this kind of traffic. Or maybe we will be like, okay, so no, let's, they can sell up max to 100% because I'm saying up max because, again, it's probability. So we are just with this information, we want to understand what will be the range of distribution of these probabilities, and this is where you are putting your max basically. And with this case, we can say, okay, so we want to check the simulation scenario where they are going on basically monthly basis, just buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. So more like speculative stuff, right? So let's put maybe 50 here. Then the other thing is like, okay, we have this what we call base agent, which I can refer to also as kind of the average volume on your token. But then you have the secondary market agents, which is more like on top of that, on top of base agents, what is going to happen as well. So you can think about them as some more like speculative agents on the market. And also they have their own strategies. So it's not like here, which is kind of this baseline, this average baseline that will happen, okay? But this is on top of this baseline. What another strategies we can have on the market, right? So again, we have the descriptions here, but basically these are kind of condition-based strategies, and where you are providing these strategies for the secondary market agents, and then you are attaching to them some of the dollars that they can use, because again, they need to buy the token first from the secondary market, right? So you can say, okay, all of this, let's say these two agents, what they're going to have is that they're going to have, for example, let's say $50,000 per month, okay, to execute on these strategies. What is important is that depending on the actual condition in the simulation, these strategies are not always going to be executed, because, for example, if the strategy is about buying at some specific price point, then if the price point will not be reached, even if the agent has a budget, they will not going to execute on that, right? So you can think about here how many possibilities we have in terms of the primary market that I mentioned before, in terms of strategies, how different people can inject their own models there, and not only some classic models, but also, of course, the topic that is hot recently, which are, AI agents, right? And also here on the secondary market, we can also, what we are thinking about is injecting the AI models that will reflect the behavior of what is happening on chain, right? So then at the end of the day, you will have really sophisticated tool set that reflects the reality, and on top of which you can make your data-driven decisions. And then that's the last step. Here is your summary. So we went through basically some general information with liquidity. We went through the primary market setup. We went through secondary market setup, and now there is a summary with all of the information, so you can just check again. And as I mentioned, for now, it's for free, so you can just go and play and figure out. So you are clicking simulate button, and of course the simulation is in progress. It will take some time, not much, but probably something around 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So what we are doing right now is we are redirecting you to the project page, existing project page. Let me maybe disable my video and check the comments. Okay. And yeah, we redirected you to the project page, and as you can see here, we are showing you, okay, your simulation is running, right? This is your simulation that is running right now. And we have two tabs here. There is a summary and expert mode. We will go to expert mode later on. What you can see, first of all, it's tokenomics score. The score itself, it's the score based on here, like 5 different factors that you can read about, okay? I'm not going to deep dive on it today. And also what is really important is that this score is based on all of the simulations that you can see here. And this is my favorite characteristic of the TPRO network. It means that this is basically how we are going to minimize conflict of interest. It's that it's not us, Tokenomics Pro, who are running only the simulation based on some kind of assumptions. It's not like whoever is going to provide some, let's say, specific data in order to hack the system to make sure that project looks good, right? Okay, our simulation ended, and yeah, we can see just basically updated page, and as you can see, even tokenomics score changed, right? Again, that's interesting. So you can see that we are taking into account your recent simulation. So going back to this topic, as you can see, there are like plenty of them, and it's important because right now what we can see on the market is this fact that there are plenty of different like key opinion leaders, influencers, basically stakeholders of the projects that of course they have biased opinion. I mean, they need to have it, right? So this is why we want to address this issue with the fact that even if, for example, there is some biased opinion towards some, let's say, positive score of the projects within these 5 simulations, then everyone is free to go and do another 5 with some more objective approach, or even with some more pessimistic approach, right? Of course, our tokenomics score model takes into account these possibilities of trying to hack the system. It's not, let's say, stupid or simple stupid. We anticipated this fact. However, still, this is really important in order to, like, even if someone is just here to, let's say, do this overall analysis, check the score and so on, we just want to make sure that you, customers of this, users of this platform, you are sure that this is the, let's say, the most objective view. This score is the most objective view as you can get, okay? And also we want to change the industry in a way where the key opinion leaders, they will use this tool. They will simulate their own scenarios, right? But still show you, okay, this is basically what we have overall. If, let's say, my scenario, like this specific simulation, will materialize, then we have this kind of score and this kind of price action and so on, right? So this is how we also want to educate the industry and community that there are a lot of nuances here. And in order to make an objective view, you really need to take a lot into account. So yeah, let's go through it. Then you have some most important metrics in our minds. This is our approach to communicate to you the most important information without you having to go Oh, we have a question. That's nice. Oh, wow, another one. Cool. Marek Abra, there are currently around 100 projects available on the platform. What were the criteria for selecting projects and why those projects? That's a really great question. Thank you for that. So the criteria were pretty simple, and they were about the data availability, which means it's really, really hard to get the proper data and around how the tokenomics of the projects was really at the end of the day designed and then deployed. So this is where our great team take the effort to look for these projects in different sources. And let me show you. If you will scroll down at each project, you will have this information about the sources. Right, so for each project we are providing the sources itself, so you can validate them. That's the first point. The other point is about one second. Yeah, that's why this is the answer. That's why these projects, right? The other important fact is this is why we created TPRO Network, and this is why we have a chain, and this is why we will use on-chain data. It's because when you've seen this is what you are working on right now. When you've seen the simulation form, then you were able to set up, for example, the liquidity. What we are going to provide to you, it's not only the possibility to you like arbitrarily put something there, but if we will be able to identify that there is some existing liquidity, on-chain liquidity on the market for this specific project, we are going to show it to you. And then basically the whole idea will be that when you will see, one second, because again I lost my mouse. Okay, when you will see list of the simulations, right, we will highlight and indicate the fact which one of them are based on top of the validated on-chain data, which by default and automatically will, let's say, provide this higher quality of the simulation itself, because there will be, let's say, validated data. And also this is something that we would like to incorporate in the new version of the scoring model. So we want to incentivize running simulation on top of the on-chain data if it's available, because again, if you are just designing tokenomics, you don't have this data available. So this is another important component. That's why we want to inject all of this on-chain data, verify that, and have proofs on our chain in order to make sure that we have good data in. And other questions, how can projects themselves benefit from using the platform? Yeah, so basically there are a couple of ways. The first one is depending on your stage where you are. So if you don't have your project listed yet, then what you can do is just go to the simulation form as I shown and set up, let's say, let me maybe go through this use case. So we can go to the simulation form, click a new project, right? And then you are just going to, let me maybe do it quickly. So basically we can do project name, maybe stream. Okay, let's do stream, what do we have? Stream July, okay. So yeah, let's do 100, okay. And then you are basically, we are not going to pre-populate anything for you. Let's say you are putting $100,000 to the liquidity, and then, for example, yeah, this will be your price. And then what you can see, okay, I have nothing here, right? So you are going to design and say, okay, so I'm the founder, for example, or the guy who is in charge from the project team to design the tokenomics. And then you are like, okay, how much of the tokens team is going to get, right? So, okay, the team is going to get, let's say, 1 million tokens. And during the token generation event, we would like to have 10% of them. If there is some cliff, yeah, let's say 12 months, and because we need to deliver something, and then we will have vesting period of 48 months, okay? Great. So we have another round, that's cool. Then, okay, let's say ecosystem, right? Let's do like the minimal case. ecosystem. So probably we would like to do maybe do some airdrops, some incentivization and so on, right? So yeah, okay, let's call it airdrop, and then let's say, okay, we would like to have, I don't know, maybe 5 million tokens here, right? 10% on the token generation event. For the cliff, maybe no cliff, and vesting, maybe also no vesting. We want to have them available, all of them from the day one, right? And investor, are we going to have any investors at all on the primary market, right? Let's say yes. Okay, so we have some, let's say, VC investors here. They are going to have 1 million tokens. They will have also 10% of tokens available on the listing. They will have a cliff of, let's say, 6 months and 48 vesting period. And they bought our token at maybe this kind of price. Okay. So this is like, okay, this is how you can design. Let's assume you don't know a lot about designing the tokenomics. Okay. You just have some basics. So now with that, you can go and check, okay, how this is going to behave, and then go back and try a different allocation runs, right, or different assumptions. So we have these allocations runs, and again, sales strategy. Okay, these guys are going to sell. Let's say investors are going to sell aggressively. There will be random sale here, random sale here. Great. Again, secondary market. How much of the demand I'm expecting? And let's say what we already know here and what we want to implement here, it's more, let's say, probably in a visual form, more like a kind of function. So let's say, so you will be able to say, okay, at the beginning, let's say for the first 6 months, the demand will be low, but then it's going to rise as a result of some specific function that I want to develop here, right? For now, let's keep it simple. So again, let's say there will be like $5,000 of the demand, and 50% of them is going to sell at max. We will have some one agent here that also will do some small amount. Okay, next. We have summary, and then we are going to simulate. So this is the funder case. Like I don't have project on the market yet. We don't have this project on the platform as well. So what you can see, okay, there is Stream July project. That's great. There are no simulations besides this one. There's only one, right? And we are just going to wait until there will be results, and you will see the first results of your assumption and your simulation. After it will be finished, then this project will be available on the existing projects. So then you can just go and play around with different assumptions of the primary market, of the secondary market, of your allocations, and so on. So at the end of the day, you will be able, that on top of all of these simulations, you will be able to check, okay, which design for you is the best one. So this is the funder case. That's like the very genesis of where we are addressing. But then, here's the simulation. Pretty fast, I need to say. And what you can see here, like tokenomics score, it's 81%. Wow, like why is that? Let's see the token price itself. It seems interesting, right? So you can see like here. So let's go through the second use case right now, which will be like the kind of the bigger bucket use case, which is the analysis itself. So you want to analyze the project, right? You can analyze a project as the funder of it itself. So as me right now, I just run the simulation, and okay, let's see. I mean, oh, it looks pretty great. Let's see the details behind it, which are here, that I'm going to scroll down right now. But you can also be, just person who is analyzing the project, either as a key opinion leader that they have their own YouTube channel, for example, and they would like to provide their conclusions on top of the data that they see, right? Or support their conclusion about the project from the data that they see. There can be a use case of also the key opinion leaders, on the X platform, so former Twitter, where they are providing, for example, threads around, the research about the project, right? Then also the professionals in the field like us. So, because internally we are using this engine for our own purposes, for our own simulations. So at the end of the day, if you are, for example, token engineering freelancer, quant, or whoever else, right? that you are making money on top of designing economy for the protocols, and you want to give sophisticated reports on top of the sophisticated simulations, like some data-driven points, this is what you can use, right? And also investors slash VCs as well. If they are getting the investment offer with some specific informations regarding the cap table, right? They can go, and what we will allow, of course, is again providing your own strategy for the platform. So we will have this library of all of the different strategies and so on. So they even can develop their own and say, okay, this will be our this is strategy of our VC, and this is what we would like to simulate. So they don't need to have the whole engine. They even don't need to build the strategy itself. They can provide maybe a bounty. So they can basically grant some money for some developer that is in the community of TPRO Network that will develop this strategy for them here. And what they can just do is go there and click around and see the results if their strategy is even going to materialize, right? On top of the other factors that we have here. So in the summary analyze mode, like let's see here what's here. So percentage of time above the listing price. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's 100%. Wow. So I really put some interesting numbers in this simulation, right? Like the lowest price that was observed in the simulation is this one. This is the highest price under specific market cap, right? This is where we are showing how many, let's say, in this time period, what part of the time period was in terms of the price increase trend. And the longest price increase trend was 9 months, as you can see. The longest price decrease trend was 7 months, which are also interesting factors for you to consider. The median price, but also the most important point, especially for most of the projects that basically tend to have this bad score, is the lowest quartile price, meaning that this is the price level below which value of the token has fallen in 25% of the cases. So I will show it on a different example, but as you can imagine, when you have like 100 simulation for one project, this token price chart will be useless because you will have basically 100 different lines, right? That's why we are going to change it to, at least this is my proposal. Let's see, is Steam going to accept that? But we want to change it, or I want to change it to the chart, or add a new chart with the probability distribution of the prices across time, right? So basically the information will not be, okay, here is the token price for this one specific simulation in this period of time, but the information will be, there is this kind of probability across all of the simulations that we took, that this price will be like that, right? So I hope at least that it will be more straightforward message to the people. So here you can see, of course, the vesting schedules that we designed. Here you can see that the primary market supply, how it behaved. And here you can have all of the market metrics, like how many tokens were sold and bought by users on the secondary market. You have a volume. Of course, you have different scales of the axes. You have fully diluted valuation, market cap. Then you can see, okay, how tokens were changing their state on the primary market side of things. So going from, unvested to vested to claimed to sold. This is also important. Like this is let's say, overall summary stuff, right? But if you want to deep dive into the details, you are clicking either on the single scenario or the expert mode. And here you can see also the demand and supply. You can see the scenario metrics, right? Here, what is different, what you haven't seen on the summary screen, is the primary market supply, meaning that how each specific round were selling, basically, at which point in time and how many tokens, right? Then what I love a lot, it's strategies revenue, which means, okay, for primary market, depending on the strategy. So yeah, as you mentioned, if you have VC and they took some specific strategy, we are saying to you, okay, on top of this strategy, your revenue was like that. And this is revenue, but we are going also to introduce the net profit. So did you already make money or not? Right. So this is a really interesting chart. Then again, charts for the secondary markets. Okay, how these agents, as you can see, the base agent and low advanced agents, how they behaved. So you can have this visual representation of what you basically described in the form. Then all of the market metrics regarding the behavior of the liquidity pool and the volume, fully diluted valuation. As you can see, there are ranges here, right? These are ranges. So here you can see that the white line is basically the average from all of the Monte Carlo runs that we have, but there are some ranges. So this is your probability distribution that I was talking about. Here is our metric, that is minimum demand needed to sustain listing price, which is negative, of course, because in the simulation we can see higher demand than the supply, and again changing the states of the tokens on the primary market. So this is for the single scenario. Then if we will go back to this case where we have plenty of them, right? Then you can go to this expert mode or click on the specific simulation scenario, right? And here you can, if you have more simulations, you can compare them. So let's say, okay, here I have the score of 49, but I would like to compare it with the simulation where I get 73, right? And maybe to balance it out with some 53 simulation, right? Here you can also see, okay, with different agents and the configuration, and then you can compare them. Yeah, you can compare how their score were distributed for these three different simulations. How was the price action? All of these most important metrics that we have on the top, how they behave under these different scenarios. As you can see here, like 33% the price was above the listing price, while here not really. And lower quartile price here was pretty much the order of magnitude comparing to this one. So for example, like still following up on the question about how the funders can benefit from that, is that when you are designing, and also token engineers and so on, when you are designing economy, then you can basically go later on and compare, and really with this trial and error approach, you can see which one actually the design is the better for you. And I'm always getting this question like, what is the best tokenomics? There is no such thing as the best tokenomics, because how your tokenomics will end up, it not only depends on the tokenomics itself, but also on liquidity, on the market type, on the demand that you generated. So there are plenty of factors there that when you are creating a project, you always need to have some assumptions. You are always working on top of assumptions. What is you can validate them here. And if you will even see that, hey, your assumptions are not actually enough, because it's always a failure, then probably you will need to change your assumptions, meaning that, okay, if your assumption is that you will be able to onboard this amount of the customers of your game that is based on blockchain in the first year, and then you will see, okay, it's not going to play out well, then either you are changing your economy in the game, or maybe parameters in terms of fees and so on, or you are just going to change your assumptions and say, okay, no, we just need to have more gamers, right? And we need to do something about it, maybe have more resources to onboard these gamers there. And then you basically, of course, going back, you can compare how these different metrics behaved for all of this simulation scenario. Yeah, let me check maybe the comments. Okay, here is the thanks. Yeah, cool. So I assume I explained clearly. Thank you very much for this question, because that was also the plan to explain it. And but thanks to you, it's more interactive right now. So as you can see, to sum this up a little bit, you have a platform where you can analyze some different projects, right? We have plenty of them. You can take this easy path of just, general analysis, like, okay, here is the score, okay, here are some metrics, that's all. If you want to go pretty more, let's say, into advanced mode, you can go direct into specific simulation or deep dive into the charts here. Something didn't load it here. Let me refresh. Oh, of course, we have an error. Works. So there wouldn't be the live demo without any error. So that's cool. We have it done. Or just go to the expert mode, have even more deep dive information and compare different scenarios. So yeah, what I can encourage you to do, just go and play around with simulations, different assumptions for existing projects or new projects. This is again, it's for free. So we will be able to see, as you can see, there's like 108 projects right now, thanks to me. And my simulation right now. So we will see, of course, I do believe different distribution and different number of projects. In the next iteration, we are going to integrate the wallet connection. So we will be able to aggregate your simulations on top of the your wallet address. So there will be also your profile section where you can go and make sure you are able to follow up with the simulations that you have done. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about today. I think it's about the time. It's 1 hour, which is cool. I've made it. I think it will last a little bit longer. So yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, feedback, especially about the improvements, feel free to reach out. So like the action point, I think, or call to action from my side would be to go to our website, TPRO Network, and scroll down, and at the bottom you have the join the community. So you can go to our X account, Telegram, or Discord community, and feel free to go there and to ask the questions, provide feedback, challenge it. That would be great. And we are inviting everyone. You don't need to have any specific skill set. You don't need to have to be the professional. We are inviting people who are key opinion leaders that are one of those that loves to analyze the projects. We are inviting people who don't have any clue about the crypto really. They want to engage, but they really don't understand this stuff. This is a tool for you. This is for you. Go there and analyze it and check how the token price can behave. Make some questions like, okay, why is that? And then we can explain it to you so you can be more safe on the market. Of course, we are inviting all of the professionals, right? This is a tool for you as well. I mean, we are using it. We are not using it from this interface layer. We are using it from the layer below. But then at the end of the day, the expert interface is something that we are creating for you. So if there is anyone who would like to engage and help us and help to shape the community, feel invited. Also, all of the investors and so on. This is a network. This is open, decentralized network tool that is pretty much for all of the stakeholders that are in the industry and for funders. I mean, we created that because when we were talking with many funders on some different hackathons, like they always need help with economics. I mean, they are building tools. They don't build economics. They building the products. That's totally different thing. And we were like, telling them about the services of Tokenomics Pro. Most likely for them, especially for this like hacker mindset people that are one-man army, I mean, they can't afford such an services of hiring 5 people, highly experienced team, right? So this is the tool for you guys, for all of you. So join the community, and also what we also have, there is an ambassador program. So if you like to engage even more and spread the word about the TPRO network, we have a program. And here is like you can see, we already have an ambassadors at the sprint one. You can go to the ambassadors website, and here are the rules. And this is basically the link for the form where you can apply and join, and then get the rewards as well. So that will be all. Thank you very much for today. it's really exciting stuff, to be honest. I think we are going to provide more of this live content, especially because then we can utilize it and provide educational materials around it as well. So thank you for attendance, and yeah, again, please feel free, join the community, comment, provide feedback, use the tool, it's for free, and have a great day. Thank you very much.